Now we have to talk about emotions. How do emotions play into the higher self? This, from what my stance, and this is what I'm saying, is that I experienced a lot in my channeling career. I experienced a lot in the last 20 years of spiritualism. And it's not to say that I followed books and such. It's more like I saw things, I interpreted things, and then I found the books to match. Okay, so I work backwards. So what takes place is that love is the all-encompassing emotion. It's the largest encompassing emotion. So even when you have lower-ended things like jealousy, greed, sadness, madness, anger. The list could go on and on, but I think you guys get the idea. Okay? On this side, we have happiness, joy. I guess you could put sorrow here. Realness, vulnerability. I'm just listing some out so you understand where I'm coming from. These are what we would call higher vibed emotions, and these are what you would call lower vibed emotions. The night versus the light side. But here's the thing. In order for you to move up dimensionally in your consciousness, to find that middle way, you have to embrace the idea that both are part of one total whole, which is love. And I'll show you how. Even though someone could see these things as bad or good, what I think is most understandable, I hope, is that the reason why you feel any of these negative feelings, any of them, is because of love. And I'll show you why, right? You're jealous. And what makes you jealous? You could be jealous of a friend, jealous of a family member, jealous of a loved one, let's say a partner, right? And ergo, I'm already giving it away. The jealousy stems from love. Even though your version of love is maybe off of kilter because the negative reality you put it into is jealousy. You love someone so passionately, or you love something so passionately, and you become jealous of the outcome, or you become jealous of the person or the situation. Okay? So that's what happens. And then next, let's say greed can tie into that as well. You could be someone who doesn't feel like they're satisfactory in their own existence. So what happens is that your greediness starts to build up because you're, again, part of this jealousy, negative thought form pattern. Sadness comes because you are devoid of some formation of love, right? And you become mad at certain situations when certain passes or passageways of self don't come clear and don't come through. And the anger and the madness can even stem from something that is love-based. For example, I'll just give you one. Let's say, for example, what irks me, what makes me angry and mad is when persons litter, okay? Now, I take that in a sad or a mad way. I'm just giving you an example. But over time, as I learn to transmute and try to move more towards a cleaner, healthier, light-sided way of looking at things, I try to inspire. I try to inspire better behavior versus getting mad or sad about the situation. So this is what I'm trying to say about when you move into elevations of higher consciousness. All you're trying to do is take the same scenarios, the same situations that you're faced with, and learn where on the spectrum of emotions these thoughts and these feelings come from. And when you learn that all of these things, even anger, like I said, I get angry when somebody litters. You know what I mean? Why do I get angry? Why don't I try to inspire someone to not litter? I become a problem solver. I no longer submit to the sadness or the madness or the anger in that situation, and that's how you elevate. You change these over to more higher raised emotional stances with all of your thought forms that any of us are faced with every day. So what I'm trying to say is, even with sorrow, be it from like death or loss of some sort, the interpretation of how you perceive it or how you feel it is what is to be understood, because the sorrow, again, comes from love. You wouldn't feel sorry, you wouldn't feel sad, you wouldn't feel like you're missing out on anything if you didn't love the person or love the place or love the thing. So you have to understand that all of these negative feelings, all of them, come from a place of love, ironically. How this all incorporates into what I was saying before. This is you in the 3D sense. And you can move up in rank, let's say, or up the ring or the ladder of consciousness to your dimensional higher selves or versions or aspects of yourself, okay? And how this is done is transmuting, exactly how I just said. To work with the emotion is to work with the consciousness you're presently afforded. And when you can work with the consciousness you're presently afforded, you find that you do move from the 4D, 5D, all our levels trying to aspire to one complete oversoul self of love and unity consciousness. But how does one get to unity consciousness if they don't learn how to unite, transmute all of these emotions on an ongoing basis in the dimensional self that they are interpreting? Okay, so when you're moving, even let's say for example, any of your aspects, 7D, 8D, 9D, even though they're seen as going up higher in dimensional space, that means that, like, let's say for example, a 9D being would be 70, 30 light, 30% night. An 8D being might be 60% night, 40% light. They all have percentages of what they encompass in terms of like how they perceive this one united emotion, which is love. And if you have multiple aspects, right? Like for myself, I truly believe that I have multiple aspects that lead me to my 12th dimensional unity-based self, my oversoul. Not to say that there aren't higher dimensions to that, 13, etc. But my point is that you have to understand is that all these aspects of you need to find this middle ground, because no matter if they're like 40 light, the closer they get to love, the closer they get to unity consciousness as well.